Hey, everybody, this is Chris with allpronation.com. Give us just a few minutes, listen to some music real quick, and we will begin the podcast momentarily.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Ah! Oh. Hey, I'm trying to okay. Ah! Okay. You better get on. To get you a little bit more. Here we go to get you. Okay. You better get on. To get you a little bit more. That's what we gonna do. Crank you. Me and my brother, we came to get queen. Won't stop. No, we keep on coming close. We won't quit. That's why we keep bringing it. We drop in everything you pop in. From the yin yang twin begin to make your adrenaline pump right on through your skin and make that pump again. We was laying a beat, we came on back on the way. We jumped out like a jack in the bus, like an adder with a bad dude sack in my sock. Tell them how we gonna go. Tell them why they don't go. Tell them why they better run. To get you. You better to get you. Okay. A little bit more. Here we go to get you. Okay. To get you. Okay. A little bit more. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't had enough, you better hide your lunch, because we about to eat that ass up.
What is up, everybody? Chris Smith here with the All Pro Nation podcast, and we have got a special night for you tonight. We are live tonight for the podcast, and of course, as always, I got with me Tanner Weber. Tanner, how you doing, man?
Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. Hey, do you like that intro music?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I wasn't suspecting that, but it was good.
I had to play it because a certain team is officially in the playoffs and probably and has a good little path to victory. So, I had to get a little plug in there.
There you go.
There we go. So anyway, the podcast is live tonight. So you will be able to, for those of you that are viewing it with us, you will be able to also get the audio version on iTunes tomorrow. If you're playing this back, you'll also be able to listen to it on the YouTube channel, the All Pro Nation YouTube channel, and check us out at allpronation.com. Looking for writers at All Pro Nation. So if you're interested in doing any sports writing, you don't have to be a fan, or you don't have to be a professional. You just got to be a fan. That's the tagline. So check them out at allpronation.com. Man, Tanner, so week 17 in the books.
Yeah, kind of sad, but getting closer to the Super Bowl, which is fun. We both got teams in the playoffs, so.
Yeah, Super Bowl is going to be a good time. Let's run through the scores of the week real quick. So you had the Patriots beat the Jets 26-6. The Giants beat the Redskins 18-10. The Cowboys beat the Eagles 6-0. The Titans beat the Jaguars 15-10. The Buffalo Bills beat the Dolphins 22-16. The Bengals beat the Ravens 31-27. The Chargers beat the Raiders 30-10. The Cardinals beat the Seahawks 26-24. The 49ers beat the Rams 34-13. The Falcons beat the Panthers 22-10. The Chiefs beat the Broncos 27-24. And the Buccaneers beat the Saints 31-24. So there are your – oh, I missed all the earlier ones, didn't I? Lions beat the Packers 35-11. Vikings beat the Bears 23-10. Colts beat the Texans 22-13. And Steelers beat the Browns 28-24. My bad. I didn't mean to leave off the Vikings.
It's all good. It was a pretty boring game.
It was pretty boring. All the games were pretty boring except for the couple of the late afternoon games.
Yeah.
But anything about Week 17 kind of stand out to you?
I don't know so much about the games itself, but now that we're kind of into Black Monday and the coaches getting fired and stuff, the biggest thing was, even before the Broncos took the field, was probably the Vance Joseph news.
Yeah.
I know we talked about it a few weeks ago. We thought that he might be safe, but we knew that he would probably be considered just because the Broncos probably didn't meet expectations this year.
Right.
I think he was thrown into a bad situation with the QB controversy that Denver had.
Yeah.
And he got tossed after 1 year. And it just seems odd to me that he got tossed after 1 year, considering Hugh Jackson's safe and he's won one game in 2 years.
Right. Yeah, man, I tell you, so let's run through the coaches real quick that were let go this week. So Black Monday hit. We saw Jim Caldwell. We saw
Vance Joseph.
No, Vance Joseph stayed. I meant to interrupt you. What are you talking about? Vance Joseph stayed.
He got fired, didn't he?
No, he did not. No, sir. Bye, Felicia.
Oh, wait. Yeah. They said, wow, we were just lost right now, aren't we?
I'm not lost. So we had Jim Caldwell get fired. We had Marvin Lewis surprisingly is staying. Man,
actually, there weren't as many as I thought there would be.
No,
I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. I just remember seeing Schefter saying that Joseph was going to be let go, and I just
I think the original plan was for him to be let go, but then Elway came out and said that he realized that he was kind of set up for failure, so decided to give him another go. But John Fox fired, Jack Del Rio fired, Jim Caldwell fired, Chuck Pagano fired. Of course, we knew about Ben McAdoo going to be fired. We anticipated Marvin Lewis, who actually got a 2-year extension. We saw Bruce Arians retire in a very emotional press conference yesterday. And did I miss anybody?
Did you say Jack Del Rio?
I did say Jack Del Rio.
Okay.
We'll jump into the Jack Del Rio.
I guess one wasn't a head coach, Don Capers, Packers defensive coordinator. I don't know if we.
Yeah, he's gone. And then of course, as far as GMs go, Ted Thompson was relieved of his GM duties in Green Bay, taking on a senior advisor football operations role, whatever that means.
That's essentially how you get fired
without getting fired,
corporate-wise.
Yeah.
Taking on the role.
Rick Smith with the Texans is taking a leave of absence. I think that's pretty much the big ones. Of course, we knew. Everybody. Yeah, we knew New York had fired their general manager earlier in the season.
Nope.
But anyway, so those are the big things. So let's talk Jack Del Rio for a minute. I've never been one to think that John Gruden was ever coming back into the NFL. I kind of believed it. There was just something to kind of buy into the Tampa Bay rumors. He had appeared in Tampa Bay on the Hard Knocks. the emotional induction into the Ring of Honor. He just kept going on and on about how much he loved Jameis Winston and would love to have an opportunity to coach him. And it just kind of seemed like everything was coming together for that to be reality. And then, of course, before the game, it was announced that Dirk Cutter had gotten the approval of the ownership at Tampa Bay that he was going to stay. And so I kind of just assumed, well, there goes the John Gruden rumors. I should have never believed them. And then, wouldn't you know, ESPN of all people reported that John Gruden would be going to Oakland. Normally, again, wouldn't buy into it, but ESPN, I have a hard time believing that they would report that about one of their own employees unless there was a little bit of merit to it.
Yeah.
So. Interesting thing is John Gruden's going to be calling the Kansas City game this weekend. I'd be interested to see if Kansas City's going to say anything about that. If he's potentially going to be in Oakland as the coach, do they want to have him interviewing them and getting information on what they do inside Kansas City?
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's kind of like with the Greg Olsen situation a few weeks back when he was calling the Vikings game and then ended up playing the Vikings a few weeks later.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that big a deal at this point in time, just because the Chiefs would have a whole year to adjust their schemes or whatever,
right,
before they played the Raiders again. But I could see why some fans and people within the organization would probably be upset about it.
Right. So staying with the theme of coaches, I find that it's interesting that Giants have their first interview tomorrow, and it is not Josh McDaniels. And I put that 6 weeks ago. I said, mark it down. Josh McDaniels is going to be the next head coach of the New York Giants, and their first interview is with Steve Spagnuolo. So I find that kind of odd.
Interesting.
Considering that McDaniels can be interviewed this week since his team is on a bye.
Yeah.
McDaniels actually does have a interview set up with the Colts this week, tomorrow, I believe.
Yeah, I did see that.
So
that's a good spot for him. I remember us talking about that too with him and Andrew Luck. That'd be probably another high.
Well, assuming Andrew Luck comes back and is healthy. I mean, there's always the off chance that Andrew Luck won't be healthy. I mean, that shoulder's been giving him some problems. Yep. So there is that. Arizona is slated to interview their defensive coordinator for their head coaching job. Now, they've put together a pretty good defense, so I could see that.
Yeah, Pat Shurmur's got quite a few interviews himself.
Lions are gonna. Yeah, Pat Shurmur is. He's definitely gonna be a hot candidate. The Lions are interviewing Terrell Austin to be their head coach. He's their current defensive coordinator. He's kind of been interviewing the last couple of years, so Detroit might want to try to keep a lot of things intact. So they might go that route with Terrell Austin.
Yeah, it could be. I could see that.
Yeah. I know a couple coaches that are kind of hot commodities. So Pat Shurmur is a big one. I'm looking at Vic Fangio in Chicago is going to be a big one. Of course, Josh McDaniels, Matt Patricia.
Patricia's a big one.
Jim Schwartz, I think, has an interview for the New York job also. So that's going to be a big one. And then I even saw that Philadelphia's quarterback coach is intriguing to Chicago based on his work that he's done with Carson Wentz. You know, they got Trubisky.
Yeah, they're definitely bringing. I think they said that they're thinking about bringing in an offensive mind, so that would make sense for somebody to develop Trubisky.
Yeah. And then, of course, too, Arizona is looking at him because I don't know if you heard earlier today that Carson Palmer has announced retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Not like he had a choice. He was getting to the point where he's going to have to be pushed in a wheelchair. But
they're in a tough bind right now. Arizona they're in full rebuild mode. It makes you wonder what's going to happen with Larry Fitzgerald. because I mean Arizona, they don't have a quarterback right now. Drew Stanton's a free agent. Blaine Gabbert's a free agent. Is Larry Fitzgerald going to want to play with one of those guys next year, or is he going to play with a rookie?
Yeah,
his career is getting short, and I'm sure he's going to want to compete somewhere. So I just makes me wonder if he's going to retire, or if he'll, I don't know, ask for a trade or release. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's an interesting point because I would think that Larry Fitzgerald is just the kind of guy that I don't see demanding a trade. He may
it's too much class.
Yeah, way too much class. He may propose it. He may say, "Hey, look, this is the situation that I'm in. I kind of want to win now before I retire. We're in full rebuild mode."
He'll never come out and say that, though.
He'll never will. No, he might talk to the front office about it. That's what I'm saying. Or he might say that to his agent to see if his agent can get anything done. But yeah, no, Fitzgerald has way too much class to just come out and retire and say that.
He's shown that organization a ton of loyalty through the years.
Yeah. Let's see. I made a list of coaches that you could see possibly get hired. So Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels, Vikings offensive coordinator Pat Shurmur, the Eagles quarterback coach John DeFilippo, Chiefs offensive coordinator Matt Nagy, Patriots defensive coordinator Matt Patricia, Eagles defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz, Panthers defensive coordinator Steve Wilks, Texans defensive coordinator Mike Vrabel, Saints defensive coordinator Dennis Allen, Steelers offensive coordinator Todd Haley, Lions defensive coordinator Terrell Austin, Saints offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael, Lions offensive coordinator Jim Bob Cooter, Bears defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, and Buccaneers defensive coordinator Mike Smith. So those are the kind of names that I wouldn't be surprised to kind of see the pool of.
I got a question for you.
What's that?
So do you think any of the coaches got fired will get a job as a head coach with another team next year? Could you see Jack Del Rio maybe?
Oh, I could see Jack Del Rio because I don't think Oakland fires Jack Del Rio unless they know for a fact that they've got John Gruden.
Yeah.
I just don't think that happens without knowing for a fact that John Gruden is coming.
I think I don't know. He just seemed like he knew it was coming. It was an emotional press conference.
Oh,
it looked
no.
like it was so.
Yeah, absolutely. No, he definitely looked like he knew it was coming. But I don't. They had a really bad season, but they had a really good season the year before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a couple of tweaks, a couple additions in the offseason, get a better offensive coordinator, shore up some of the secondary. I mean, and then the Oakland Raiders were going to be right back in it next year. And so it's not like they're in full rebuild mode right now. They have a window. And Jack I mean, if you look before Jack Del Rio came there, I mean, Oakland Raiders were a dumpster fire, and he brought them to relevancy in the AFC. And I don't think that he deserved to be let go. And I think the only reason why it happened is because they know they can get John Gruden, and so they had to go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could see him. Maybe John Fox, for some reason, he's kind of got the Jeff Fisher thing going on for him. He just kind of seems to float around.
Yeah, I still think he was just thrown in a really bad. Well, I wouldn't say he was thrown in a bad situation, but I don't think he was given a fair shake.
Yeah.
Just because of all the injuries that Chicago had this year. I think before the Vikings played the Bears this week, I looked at their IR their injury reserve players, and they had like 10 starters on injury reserve this year, and over half of them came on defense. So,
right.
I think the Bears easily could have went like 9-7 or 8-8 this year if they had a fully healthy roster. So.
Oh yeah, no, I totally do too.
I still think John Fox is a good coach, but. Yeah, it's a tough
Yeah.
situation with him.
It's a tough situation. Yeah, so I mean, I think we're gonna know. You know how these things go. I mean, with the playoffs going on, a lot of the coaches that are up for jobs are in the playoffs. So, I think a couple of the jobs you might see filled before the Super Bowl, but I would imagine you're not going to see anything major for a couple more weeks as far as coaching.
Probably not.
Yeah. So one thing we didn't get this week, we've been looking, guys. We've been looking. We cannot find the unicorn. Where?
Or if you
Where is
know a unicorn, aka a Cleveland Browns fan that would love to join us on a podcast, we'd love to have them.
We'd love to have them. I mean, we're talking history. The second 0-16 team. And
It's a big deal.
I mean, it's a big deal. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing about them is I'm kind of pissed off because I don't think they earned that 0-16 because they're actually a talented team, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I think they definitely should have won at least 3 or 4 games this year.
Yeah, they should have beat the Steelers this weekend.
I was gonna ask you who you actually thought was worse. The 2008? Was that the
2008 Lions? Oh, yeah,
2008 Lions or the 2017 Browns?
Oh, if the 2017 Browns play the 2008 Lions, the 2017 Browns would probably win 50-0.
And the Lions were pretty bad.
Yeah, the Lions were terrible. They were so bad. They fully deserved the deserved the 0-16 title. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But the exciting news outside of one thing I did want to share with you. Did you hear? We talked about on the podcast a couple of weeks ago that because the Browns were going 0-16, that they were planning a parade in Cleveland because of that.
Did that go through?
Apparently it's gonna happen. So. The guy who did it said he never thought that it would really happen, and now I think he's actively trying to make sure it does. So, we'll see. So, are you ready to talk playoffs?
Oh man, let's do it. It's the best part.
Right. This is the meat of the podcast. So, playoffs. All right, so we got Wild Card Weekend. So Wild Card Weekend is going to see Saturday, January 6th at the early afternoon game is going to see the Titans at the Chiefs. And then the nighttime game will see the Falcons at the Rams. Sunday, January 7th, we'll see the early game will be the Bills at the Jaguars. And then the late afternoon game will be the Panthers at the Saints. So let's start off with the Titans Chiefs.
Yeah, the AFC doesn't interest me much right now. I don't know if it's going to be any fun until the Patriots and the Steelers make it in the AFC.
The Chiefs or the Titans honestly do not have any business being in the playoffs. But they're more of a kind of possess the ball and keep it and try to maintain control of the game. And the Kansas City Chiefs play good defense. They've seemed to got their offense clicking again. And I just think the Chiefs are going to run away with this game.
Yeah. They're a night and day different team when they play on the road and when they play at home.
Yeah.
They're actually one of the better teams in the league when they play at home this year. I think they were like 6-2 or something like that.
Yeah.
And they're averaging nearly 30 points a game, which is really good. But not very many teams have success going into Arrowhead in the playoffs. Very few do. The teams that usually come away with the victory are the top-tier quarterbacks like Brady or Roethlisberger.
Right.
I don't expect Marcus Mariota to go into Arrowhead and really make any noise. I don't think he met expectations this year. And like you said, I think the Chiefs will probably run away with this game. I would think 10-plus points, but It is the playoffs, and this is the NFL, so anything could happen. But
Right.
I would think the smart person would probably pick the Chiefs.
Well, who is Tanner picking? Let's pull up the lines. I'm curious to see what the lines are for this game. Let's see here.
Chiefs by 6. I'm guessing. Taking a gander at it.
You're guessing Chiefs by 6?
Something
Oh,
like
how
that.
about Chiefs by 8?
Chiefs by 8.
Chiefs
Touchdown.
by 8.
A touchdown and a 2-point conversion. That's, I don't know. I guess that sounds about right. I guess I said about 10 plus, but
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
I think that it's going to be way bigger than that. If I was putting money on this game, I'd put my money on the Chiefs to win, and I'd also put the Chiefs plus the points because I think they're going to blow away that 8-point spread. I think this is probably more like a 16 or 17-point win for them.
If Tennessee wants a chance to win this game, you know what they need to do?
Shut down Kareem Hunt?
Feed Derrick Henry. That's out. I can't believe that they went that long. He didn't get nearly as many touches this year as he should have. And I think teams have a hard time stopping him. I'd like to see Tennessee utilize him more. I don't think they will. I'm really not that big of a fan of Mike Mularkey.
That's another one that's probably going to be on the hot seat.
Yeah.
I saw a report saying he probably would be fired if they lost the game and didn't make the playoffs. Well, they won. They made the playoffs. And then I saw another report saying, well, even though he made the playoffs, he'll probably, excuse me, be let go if he loses in the first round of the playoffs. Because apparently ownership and management just aren't happy. They think that Marcus Mariota has regressed. The offense is clicking, which I kind of agree with.
I agree 100%, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's happened before. I've seen coaches get let go after the playoffs, but I drafted Mariota in my fantasy league this year thinking he was going to be a big deal, and he was terrible. I had to pick up QBs, but
you didn't do too good in your fantasy league, did you?
No, I won actually by 3 points.
Oh.
Yeah, I went to my New Year's party. I was down by like 10 points or 7 points or something like that. And then my buddy texts me and he goes, "You beat me by 3 freaking points." And guess what clinched it for me? You'll love to hear it. The Jameis Winston touchdown at the end of the game.
Get out of here.
Yeah, he was my QB.
You played Jameis Winston against the Saints defense in a Super Bowl championship match?
It was Jameis Winston or Mariota. So I didn't have much for options, but I did win my league. I had pretty good running backs. And DeAndre Hopkins.
I won my league too, but I had better quarterback play than Jameis Winston.
Yeah, I don't think that takes much.
Had Ben Roethlisberger. So that did well for me. So are we both taking the Kansas City in this matchup?
I'm going to take the Chiefs 24-14.
Okay. Next we have Falcons at Rams. So this is kind of a scary matchup. At first I want to say, oh, Rams got this, but I'm kind of looking at this Falcons team over the last month, and they've put some things together. They're kind of on a hot streak right now. They're probably one of the scariest teams in the playoffs. And that's coming from a Saints fan.
Yeah, I agree. This is my favorite game of the weekend, actually. When I was going through my games to start.
This is your favorite game?
Yeah, this is my favorite game. Going through, I was thinking, I looked at the Panthers Saints, and I was thinking that was probably going to be the best game of the weekend, but I actually think that Rams Falcons is going to be the best game of the weekend.
The Rams are favored by 6.5 in this game.
6.5. I thought it'd be closer than that, actually. I did see that the Falcons put left guard Andy Levitre on IR today, so that's a big blow for them, especially when you have to block probably the defensive player of the year and Aaron Donald. Yeah. That's a big blow for their interior. You think the Falcons can pull the upset?
No. I hope not, but no.
I think the Rams. I think it's going to be a kind of a lower scoring game than I first anticipated, just because LA's scored so many points this year. Atlanta's defense is really fast, and I think that they'll be able to slow the tempo down a little bit. I think Jared Goff could have some growing pains. That's possible because this is his first playoff game. I think the Falcons are probably or not the Falcons, the Rams. I think the Rams will probably win by like a field goal. That's what I'm predicting right now. Matt Ryan has never won a road playoff game before. He's 0-3. So that's a stat for anybody that's a big stat geek like me. I think Julio Jones could. Actually, I don't really think he's gonna have a big game either. I think Jermaine Johnson will be able to slow him down. Mohamed Sanu is gonna have a big game, but I think the X factor is probably Devontae Freeman. The Rams have a pretty good pass defense, but their weakness is definitely their rush defense. I think they're in the bottom half of the league. I know that for sure. So if they can get Devontae Freeman involved and get him going, I think they have a really good shot to win. But I don't know if I see that happening.
What about the duo of Devontae Freeman, Tevin Coleman? I think that's going to be pretty deadly for the Rams.
It all depends on how well the linebackers play. I think how LA's linebackers play. Alec Ogletree needs to be play better than he has been. I think they'll get. Is Mark Maron playing this week?
Mm-hmm.
I know he's been battling some injuries, and he sat out the season finale too.
Yeah,
that's gonna make a big difference too. So I don't see Matt Ryan having a good game. I think he's gonna struggle.
Yeah,
but I do think Freeman and Coleman are probably the X factors. If they have big games, I think Atlanta has a really good chance of winning.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think that if Atlanta's run game can really take off, then maybe they have a chance. But I do not like the Falcons offensive line against the Rams offensive line. I don't like that matchup at all. And
you're talking about the Falcons D line?
I'm sorry, no, the Falcons offensive line, the Rams D line.
Oh, okay.
I don't like that matchup at all, especially with Levitre not going to play. He's been battling injuries lately, and that's kind of been a point of weakness for him.
Yeah, they said he's been playing through torn triceps.
Yeah, Jake Matthews isn't having a very good season, in my opinion, either. And so those are areas that I would expect on the defensive line that the Rams are going to try to exploit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this game, 6.5 points seems like a lot, honestly, for this game. I think the Rams will probably win it by 3, a late last minute touchdown or last minute field goal.
That's kind of what I was thinking too.
So
I'm gonna do Rams 21, Falcons 18.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close. I think that's going to be. I think you're right. I think that's going to be one of the better games of the weekend. That one has the makeup to be not a blowout. Oh, excuse me, not a blowout and a legitimate all around game. So next game we have Bills at Jaguars. Hold on, did you see that the Bills started a GoFundMe page for Cincinnati to thank them for sending them to the playoffs for beating
yeah, I did see that. That's pretty
good. Bills have not been in the playoffs since 1999. It is the longest pro sport drought of a team active drought of a team that hasn't been into postseason play.
18 years.
18 years, and that's in all professional sports in North America.
Wow.
So,
I didn't know that actually. I knew it was probably like the longest time in the NFL, but
yeah, no,
all sports, huh?
All pro sports in North America. It is the longest active streak of a professional sports team not making it to their league's postseason.
That's not bad.
So Look, you think of all the soccer teams, all the baseball teams, all the basketball teams.
The Bills.
This is the longest route, 1999. I wish they were going up against a different team because I'd like to see them win a playoff game, and I don't think it's going to happen. Let me look at the line real quick. Yeah, Jacksonville is a 9-point favorite.
Yeah, this game, I don't think this game's gonna be close. I think this game will probably be it'll be a pretty big deficit for Buffalo. I think they're gonna have a hard time scoring points.
Especially if LaShawn McCoy's hurt.
Yeah, he got carted off the field to finish up the regular season. So
he did not tear his ACL.
Tyrod Taylor doesn't have much help. That whole team's pretty banged up. I mean, they're even lucky they made the playoffs. I mean, they ended a pretty nasty streak, but I'm not sure. I think I'd be shocked if they scored more than 2 touchdowns in this game.
Yeah, me too.
If I don't know, but you never know. If Blake Bortles plays the way he has the last 2 weeks, they could have a chance.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't expect Bortles to do that again. I think he'll be a little bit more relaxed now that it's at home, but you never know with that guy. He's nuts. So
yeah.
The Bills Jags defense is just going to be too much for Buffalo. So
go ahead.
I was just going to do a final score, but if you got something to throw in there.
No. What's your final score? And then I'll tell you what I was going to say next.
I'm going to do 28-10.
28-10. You're taking. Whoo!
It's gonna be a blowout.
I'm gonna put it a little bit closer than 28-10. I'm thinking more along 21-10. 21-10. I think I want to get one less touchdown than you. No, I still think
one less touchdown and one more pick probably for Bortles.
Now I will tell you this is super interesting. I heard this today that AJ Bouye quarterbacks throwing to him have an average passer rating of 31 point something. I can't remember what it exactly was, but it was 31 point whatever.
I can't say that surprises me.
Now here's what's surprising. If the quarterback was in a game and every single pass just never completed a pass, just threw the ball at the ground for every single pass, that would net a passer rating of 39%.
Wow.
This dude's season average for quarterbacks is 31%.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's nuts. So that secondary is crazy. And another interesting thing about this matchup is what's your boy's name? The defensive tackle for the Bills that they got let go of, and he's in Jacksonville.
Marcel Darius.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, ever since they released him, the Buffalo's run defense has just been piss poor. So this is going to be interesting, kind of a revenge game for him. Have a little chip on his shoulder. Yeah. All right, so let's move into the best game of the weekend. New Orleans Saints, baby. New Orleans Saints hosting the Carolina Panthers.
You actually think that this will be the closest game, though?
The Panthers and the Saints?
Yeah.
No, I think the Falcons and the Rams will be the closest game.
Oh.
I said the best game, didn't
I? Just because the Saints are playing?
Yeah.
No.
Represent. Panthers visiting the Saints. And the Saints are going to be a 6.5 point favorite. Uh,
That's fair.
can we please get the Cam Newton that showed up Sunday to be there next Sunday?
Yeah, he wasn't that good.
That has got to be the worst game of his career. Absolute worst.
I don't know about that, but it was one of them.
If you take – here's what's crazy. If you take out that last drive of the first half where they were just – where they were trucking, they put together a really good drive there to close out the first half. If you take that drive completely out, Cam Newton went 7 of 27 the rest of the game.
That's not good. He doesn't have any weapons.
Yeah, Kelvin Benjamin is still like number 2 or number 3 on the team in receptions, and he hasn't been there in what, 5, 6, 7 weeks?
Yeah,
and he's still like number 2 or number 3. Yeah, Greg Olsen has not been playing himself recently.
Actually, I guess. I think Christian McCaffrey leads that team in receptions. I think, don't
he? Yeah, Christian McCaffrey does. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he don't have any help. I really like the Panthers defense, but I don't think I don't like Cam on the road.
Not New Orleans.
I was actually going to ask you what your opinion was of how confident are you in New Orleans defense going into the playoffs?
So here's an interesting statistic. Of all the teams in the playoffs, the Saints have the most players on injured reserve with 18. What's that?
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, the Patriots are number 2 with 14. And then the lowest team would be the Eagles with 4.
Wow, only 4, huh?
Only 4. Now, granted, one of them is Carson Wentz.
4 very relevant ones: Jason Peters and Jordan.
Yeah. So, so the Saints are banged up, man. They're really banged up. You know, we've seen 2 games now without A.J. Klein and Kenny Vaccaro, both with drastic different results. You saw the one against Atlanta 2 weeks ago, where that was probably the Saints defense, probably their best all-around performance of the entire year.
Yeah.
I mean, they put together a monster game that game. And then, of course, we saw what happened this past Sunday with Tampa Bay. And so it's almost like which one of those Saints teams is going to be able to show up, you know? The pass rush is considerably worse without Alex Okafor. Now, granted, they are still being able to manufacture pressure. Cam Jordan is a beast, one of the most underappreciated defensive ends in football. The linebackers and the safeties are coming through on some blitzes. The interior pressure is with Sheldon Rankins and Onyemata is really good. So they are able to get pressure. But I don't think it's not nearly at the rate as it was with Alex Okafor. You had Haloi Kakaha fill in that spot after Okafor went out. Now he's on IR. Trey Hendrickson, the third-round pick, who has been real good. He's been banged up. Hopefully he's back for this Sunday. They did bring back Kasim Adebawale, been with the team for a couple years. He was a free agent pickup that they did last week. So they are trying, and here's one thing about the Saints defense that I think is underappreciated is they have sustained a lot of injuries, whether it be to the offensive line, losing Strief, losing Teron Armstead, losing Pete for a game, whether it's been cornerback play, Marshawn Lattimore, Ken Crawley have all missed time, linebacker, Alex Anzalone, AJ Klein. It doesn't matter. It seems like injuries really haven't been a factor against the Saints. They have been able to weather the storm.
That's what good teams do.
But at some point, attrition is just going to catch in, and you can't weather the storm anymore.
Right.
So I am curious. I mean, they have a favorable road in the postseason.
Yep.
And if they can just play what I call January football, right?
Mm-hmm.
And January football is all 3 phases of the game come together and play well. you play mistake free, you play fast, you play, you have your head in the game, and you play the best football of your freaking life. Because this is when it matters. You lose and you're done. You go home. And so if they can play good January football, then this is a team that can make a serious run in the postseason. But they let off the gas just a little bit in any one of those phases of the game, and don't be surprised if Carolina beats them. Don't be surprised if a Carson Wentz-less Philadelphia Eagles team beat them. Don't be surprised if the Vikings beat them.
Nick Foles.
What's that?
Nick Foles? You think Nick Foles and the Eagles are going to beat the Saints?
I'm not saying I think that. I'm saying if the Saints don't come up to play and they're not playing good complementary football, then yeah.
Anything can happen in the playoffs. I agree.
Yeah, everybody's 0-0.
The one thing that the Saints have, they got something that no other team in the NFC has right now, and that's Drew Brees. Drew Brees is the veteran presence that every team would love to have when it comes playoff season. That matters the most. If you're going to take one guy in the NFC to win you a drive right now at the end of the game, it's probably Drew Brees.
Yeah.
The Saints have had, I don't know, I guess I would say they probably arguably had the best offensive line in football this year. And you got Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram, Michael Thomas. You got plenty of weapons on offense to make some noise. But I guess the reason I wanted to ask you about the defense is because I think that's probably their weakest link right now. Which one's going to show up every week?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to get the one that's going to pop you in the mouth, or are you going to get the one that we saw against Tampa Bay?
Yeah, look, I don't know this. This is just me throwing out there. It looked to me that at the end of that Tampa Bay game, they had started playing a little bit more zone coverages. They kind of pulled off a little bit. They weren't really playing their best football. I think at that point in time, they saw that the Falcons had a 22 lead on the Panthers, and they knew they had already clinched the division. And at that point, it was get out of there without any more injuries. Again, I don't know that, but that's what it felt like watching the game.
Play more conservative.
That's what it felt like watching the game. Is okay, if we lose this, it doesn't matter. We've got the scoreboard's telling us we've got the division. And that's just kind of the feeling that I was all into it, and I was pissed off when they got that first down and then of course eventually the touchdown pass. But I don't know, man. I don't know what defense is going to show up. I tell you this, there's no chance in hell Carolina's winning this game this weekend.
Think so, huh?
There's no chance. It is the Saints' first home playoff game in 5-6 years. So, yeah, for a team that's for the last decade has always been a contender and always been in it, this is their first home playoff game in years.
Since 2009, huh?
No, 2011. No, 2013. 2013. We had a home. We won the division in 2013, so we had a home playoff game.
Seahawks.
And then I lied. 2013, we didn't have a home playoff game. We played Philadelphia in the wild card round, beat them, and then got beat the next week. 2011 was the last. 2011 was the last home playoff game.
It's been a while.
So, the dome is going to be rocking. There's no chance Cam Newton's going to be able to get out of that atmosphere.
Yeah,
no chance.
I agree. Cam Newton actually doesn't really have much playoff experience on the road, other than playing the Broncos in the Super Bowl. The only other place he's played on the road is at Seattle, and we know how that went over. He didn't play a very good game.
Right.
I kind of expect something similar to that this week. I think the crowd noise will give him fits.
Yeah.
I don't even really know what to say to get the. I guess defense is probably going to have to force 2 or 3 turnovers if they want to stay in it.
Right.
New Orleans is Carolina. I'm sorry, is probably going to have to capitalize on almost all those turnovers if they're going to stay in the game. I think Drew Brees will put up quite a few points. I think Kamara and Ingram will have big games.
Right.
Final score. You want to give a final score for this one?
Yeah, I'm going 32-17.
32-17.
I don't think this is going to be close.
I'm going to go 30-17. About the same.
30-17? Yeah. Yeah, I think this has got a Saints victory written all over it. Yeah. All right, so let's talk. Let's stay in the playoffs. Let's start on the AFC side. So we both think that the Jaguars are going to beat the Bills, and we both think that Kansas City is going to beat the Titans. Correct?
Correct.
So that would put the Patriots playing the Chiefs. There's playing the Jaguars. Patriots Chiefs. Who do you think wins that game?
Both of the AFC divisional games are going to be revenge games. I think the Patriots are going to get revenge against the Chiefs in Foxborough, and a close one.
Okay, and then the Steelers Jaguars.
I expect that game to be similar. I think the Pittsburgh gets revenge on Jacksonville, then a close one.
Okay, all right. So then that would set up an AFC championship game of Patriots Steelers. That's kind of been our projected AFC championship game for the last couple of weeks. And who do you see coming out of that?
Tom Brady.
So, yeah, he's been our AFC representative since we started doing this a couple weeks ago. So nothing's really changed there.
Like I mentioned last week, I don't think Ben Roethlisberger's ever won a game in Foxborough, so I don't expect that to change now.
Yeah. All right. So on the NFC side, so we both think that the Rams are going to beat the Falcons, and we both think that the Saints are going to beat the Panthers. So that would put Saints traveling to Philadelphia, and the Rams traveling to Minnesota. Saints Eagles. Who do you project to take that?
I don't know so much about. Drew Brees has played well in the past in cold weather in the playoffs. I think I read he's 2-0 against the Eagles in the playoffs. I think it'll be a lower scoring game, just because the Eagles still have a really good defense, but I don't think that the offense is going to be able to produce enough points for Philadelphia to keep them in it. So I don't know, probably a lower scoring first half. And then the second half will kind of break open. I expect the Saints to win that by 10 points or so. Okay.
And then Rams Vikings.
Oh, a shootout. I don't know. When you have a team like Los Angeles that has such a high-powered offense like that, I feel like they have a chance to come out and punch any team in the league in the mouth. They could win by like 3 touchdowns in any given week against anybody, just because they can put points up so quickly. But people don't understand how hard it is to score points in Minnesota in the bank. I think Vikings defense gave up like an average of 12 points a game at home this year, and 2 of those touchdowns during the year, the one in week 1 against the Saints and another one against Baltimore, were actually garbage time scores. So if you take both of those away, it's like 9 points a game.
Yeah.
So if Case Keenum in the offense for the Vikings plays good enough to score, 3 touchdowns again, I think that they'll probably win. But it all The X factor will be Case Keenum in that game.
Yeah. So that would set up a Saints-Vikings NFC Championship game, and who do you think would come out of that alive?
I'm not going to change my opinion from last week.
So same with Vikings.
I'm gonna stay with Vikings just because, like I said, it's really hard to score points in that game. I really like Mike Zimmer scheming against any offensive mind in the league, and I think he finds a way to take away New Orleans' run game and shut down Alvin Kamara and make Drew Brees one-dimensional. I think that's going to be tough for Brees to do playing against Xavier Rhodes.
So for 3 weeks in a row now, we have projected a Patriots-Vikings Super Bowl, and we are staying with that.
Fingers crossed.
So, fingers crossed. Minnesota would be the first team to ever play a Super Bowl in their home stadium. That would be very interesting. Couple of other teams have gotten close, but this could be the year that it finally happens. So, that would definitely be interesting. You have anything else in the playoffs that you want to add?
I want to ask you, if you had to pick one team to go out and surprise everybody, who would it be?
Jacksonville.
Because I actually think, really, Jacksonville? Think Bortles has got it in him?
So I was talking to a buddy about this earlier today, actually, and he said, take all reason and logic out of it, and pick an upset from each conference. What would be your ideal Super Bowl, and if it wasn't, Patriots Vikings, an upset. And I said that I think I could see Jacksonville Atlanta
in the Super Bowl.
In the Super Bowl.
Huh.
Now, obviously, I don't really believe that, but if I had to pick an upset, 2 upsets to make it all the way to the Super Bowl,
right.
I think those two have the potential. I think those two are the one team in each conference that I would be scared to play. And I think they could quietly be a really good team in the postseason. And so it wouldn't surprise me if either one of those teams made it to the Super Bowl. But I do think those would be upsets.
Yeah, I agree. I think you probably nailed the 2 most dangerous teams from each conference.
Yeah.
Just because of Jacksonville's defense and all the weapons that the Saints have on offense. Yeah. If that, or the Rams. Probably the Rams, but the inexperience on that team scares me a little bit.
Yeah. Anything else on playoffs?
I guess we didn't even ask you. What is that? You sticking with your prediction from last week, or you want to change it up?
No, I'm still sticking with the Patriots Vikings.
Sounds good.
All right, so let's move into news of the week. We talked Marvin Lewis did get the 2-year contract extension. Blew my freaking mind. Cannot even understand why Cincinnati is doing that.
They want to be mediocre again.
Apparently. So the AJ McCarron situation is kind of interesting, huh?
Did I miss something today?
No.
Or are you just talking in general?
Just in general, he is got the let me look it up real quick. So I make sure I give out all the correct information.
So I knew if Marvin Lewis was gone, Andy Dalton was for sure gone. I don't think there was any way in hell that they'd bring him back. But the players in that organization must just love Marvin Lewis.
Yeah. So AJ McCarron is okay, so AJ McCarron is petitioning to make him a free agent this year. Cincinnati saying because he was only on their roster for the final 3 weeks of the regular season in 2014, that doesn't count as a year of service. So he would become a restricted free agent instead of an unrestricted free agent. Where McCarron is saying that he should have accrued that year in 2014. But didn't because Cincinnati kept him on the NFI list longer than what was necessary.
Okay.
So
that could go both ways, honestly.
He's saying that the Bengals stashed him on there
longer than he needed to be.
And they're saying that they didn't, and he is going to court because he wants to be he wants
to be a starter.
He wants to be a starter. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to be in Cincinnati any longer. So I think that's kind of interesting, especially with Marvin Lewis getting the 2-year contract. Honestly, AJ McCarron, I would put as my starter over Andy Dalton. So don't know if Marvin Lewis will even have that opportunity.
Right.
Let me ask you this. This will be a fun question. Kirk Cousins, who's going to make him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL?
Oh man.
No chance he's back in Washington, huh?
I don't think so. Do you think he's going to go back?
I think since Jay Gruden is staying, I could see it. I think they have a good relationship, but
I guess the first team that comes to mind is probably Denver.
Really?
Yeah, John Elway. I think John Elway knows that his window's closing. He's still got a good defense, but how much longer?
Yeah.
Got rid of TJ Ward, and they're slowly starting to get rid of players. I mean, they have talent on the offense. They probably got a couple more pieces and gain some more experience on the offensive line. But, I mean, they got a few good running backs. Demaryius Thomas, Manuel Sanders is still there, probably at a tight end. But, yeah, Kirk Cousins to Denver would be really cool. Arizona's another team that comes to mind. They're probably going to be desperate for a quarterback.
Yeah.
Now because they don't have anybody on the roster. So
if I had to pick an ideal place for Kirk Cousins, let me see. I'll throw out a couple at you.
Cleveland.
Actually, yes.
Cleveland. They got a lot of money to work with.
Cleveland, the Jets.
I like the Jets too. That's good.
And the Arizona Cardinals. Maybe that keeps Larry Fitzgerald around.
I would think that probably would.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be enough to get him to stick around.
So I'm really high on him going to the Jets. I feel like that's a really good place for him, especially considering Josh McCown is a free agent.
Another team that's probably going to have an open QB position that nobody talks about.
Minnesota.
Well, yeah, they will. They'll bring one of their guys back though, but Buffalo.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor is he's not a free agent, but he's scheduled to make a shit ton of money.
I know he's not scheduled to be a free agent, but like the fact that they benched him this year just seems like Buffalo has different plans. They have a different outlook in their future, maybe.
Yeah, but if he's on the roster to the third day, go ahead.
If he were to get cut or even maybe traded, I mean that wouldn't surprise me if Buffalo's looking for a new quarterback next year too. New York Giants.
New York Giants. I really think the Giants are going to probably draft a quarterback and then I think I said this last week. Draft a quarterback and let Davis Webb go, and someone's going to pick up Davis Webb, and he's going to be a Super Bowl champion, and Giants are going to go through a couple years of mediocrity with whoever they pick up in the draft because it's not going to be Baker Mayfield or Rosen. They're going to pick some scrub that they think is an elite guy, and it is what it is. Niners are ready to pay Jimmy Garoppolo because he is scheduled to be a free agent this year. Yep. But they are willing to franchise tag him if they can't come up with a contract. Never good when the team already is coming out saying they're willing to franchise tag you this early in the process.
He's going to get paid.
Oh, he's going to get paid. They'd be stupid not to pay him.
Yeah.
Carson Palmer, of course, retired after 15 years. Jerry Jones says he needs more from wide receiver Dez Bryant. Do you think Dez Bryant stays with the Dallas Cowboys?
I actually
Or do you think his time there is over?
asked my followers that question when he came out and said he wasn't going to take a pay cut. I was asking people if they thought he wouldn't be in Dallas next year. I honestly don't know. I feel like Jerry Jones is pretty loyal to his players. I'm not sure he would cut Dez unless Dez really wanted out.
I don't think Jerry Jones would cut him. I don't think Dez Bryant is going anywhere.
Yeah, I don't. I still think
he'll
he'll be
stay
with the
in
Cowboys
Dallas.
next year. But if you're going to talk about a big time name being cut in the spring, that would be Dez Bryant.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it, but I think Jerry Jones would be terrified that he would go somewhere else and actually put together another good year.
Yeah,
and realize that Dak
It's
Prescott
unlikely.
maybe
It's
isn't
highly
the
unlikely.
Pete Carroll today. Cam Chancellor and Cliff Averill comebacks will be hard. He doesn't even know if they will ever play football again.
Cam Chancellor?
Cam Chancellor and Cliff Averill.
I knew Cliff. I mean, Cliff Averill's been pondering retirement already for like a year now, but
Yeah.
like Cam Chancellor kind of surprising me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be back.
You think?
Yeah.
They both got the neck injury.
Yeah.
So
That's what you get for trying to kill people every time you tackle
them. What about the news that came out that the Green Bay Packers quietly gave Mike McCarthy a contract extension at the beginning of the year? Did you hear about that?
I did. That makes me laugh.
All the Green Bay Packer fans that were yelling for him to be fired, they can't be too happy now, huh?
Mike McCarthy's not a good coach.
Mm.
Come at me if you want. I don't care.
I think he's a good coach. I think he's more of a good offensive coordinator. And
I should rephrase that. I should be careful when I say that. I think Mike McCarthy's like Pat Shurmur. I think Pat Shurmur is a good offensive coordinator. I don't think he would be a good head coach.
Well, we know what Pat Shurmur is as a head coach. He got fired.
Here's another one. Hugh Jackson.
Yeah.
Jay Gruden, maybe. Jay Gruden. Good offensive mind, maybe not a good head coach.
No, Jay Gruden's an excellent head coach, in my opinion.
Think so?
I do. But yeah, I think that's absolutely crazy that am I right that they only extended it for 1 year though?
I think it's 2.
2 years. Yeah.
Packers making moves.
Yeah. They realize something's not working. So
yeah, the Aaron Rodgers injury shed a lot of light.
Yeah.
On that black spot.
Doug Peters.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Devontae Adams and Corey Linsley both got contract extensions.
Yeah, they got paid.
Well.
Mm-hmm. Doug Peterson came out. He was kind of grilled yesterday about who would be the starting quarterback. Would it be Nick Foles or would it be Nate Solfield? And he came out and said, "Look, Nick is my guy. End of story. Next question." Do you buy that?
I do. I don't know if he wants it to be Nick Foles, but I don't think he wants to make a change right before the playoffs. Nate Solfield don't have much experience as a starter.
Yeah. And then I think that's pretty much it.
I got a news story for it. Did you see the Raiders are expected to release Michael Crabtree?
No, I didn't see that.
I read that on Saturday night or Sunday morning, I think. Yeah, Sunday morning before the games is when I saw that.
No, I didn't see that. Not surprising, but
I didn't read into it. I just saw the article.
No, that came out before they fired Jack Del Rio. You would think
Yeah, I did.
So you would think that they'll wait for the new head coach and kind of get his input on that. And when I say new head coach, I'm referring to John Gruden.
It's bound to happen.
Yeah. So, well, this is going to be. So, do you have any other news stories you want to add?
I just wanted to go into Carson Palmer's retirement a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
He actually had a really good career. He could never win the big game. I mean, he got to a super. Wait, did he get to a Super Bowl?
Who, Carson Palmer?
No, I don't think he ever did.
No.
No, he got to a couple AFC title games though in NFC, but 12th all time in passing yards, 10th all time in touchdown passes, 11th in completions, 13th in fourth quarter comebacks, and 10th in game winning drives. He had a really good career, but I think not winning a Super Bowl is preventing him from being a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Sam Bradford for the Vikings is back at practice. Whether or not they're going to bring him off IR to be Case Keenum's backup is yet to be determined. I'm not really sure what's going to happen with that, but I did see some video of Bradford in practice today, and then he actually looked pretty good. He was planting off of it and moving pretty well in the pocket.
What's going on at Bridgewater?
It's quiet. Nobody really knows.
He's healthy. Why wouldn't he be the backup for Case Keenum?
I don't know if the team likes Bradford going forward right now or Teddy, but I don't know. I was thinking Teddy was probably going to come back next year, but I'm actually not so sure now.
Of the all three quarterbacks are free agents next year. Which one do you think is going to get the contract?
Case Keenum.
Me too. You think they're going to give him a contract or franchise tagging?
They'll give him a contract. Rick Spielman's he's not all about franchise tagging.
Yeah.
People. He'll get a contract. I'm guessing it's probably going to be somewhere around the hood of Mike Glennon's contract, maybe like $15 million a year.
Yeah.
I could see Teddy coming back as a backup. I'm not sure he's going to want to do that, but if he does, it'll be through loyalty.
Yeah.
I don't know how many chances he has to go somewhere and start right now because people don't know what he's going to be like. I mean, we saw a couple snaps against a couple weeks ago, but we don't know what he's going to be like. I also expect Sam Bradford to hit the road. I think he's going to command quite a bit of money, and people don't know what he's going to be like coming off his knee injury either.
Yeah. You have anything else?
Already hit Bruce Arians retired. Oh, I actually just announced tonight the 15 semifinalists for the 2018 Hall of Fame.
Did they?
Yeah, safety. It was actually like an hour ago. Safety John Lynch, wide receiver Isaac Bruce, wide receiver Terrell Owens, wide receiver Randy Moss.
Oh, he'll get in.
Linebacker Brian Urlacher, running back Edgerrin James, linebacker Ray Lewis, safety Brian Dawkins, cornerback Everson Walls, offensive lineman Tony Baselli, offensive lineman Kevin Mawai, offensive lineman Joe Jacoby, offensive lineman Steve Hutchison, and offensive lineman Alan Faneca. Those are the 15 finalists for the 2018 Hall of Fame.
That's going to be hard to narrow. What is it, 6 that get in?
Yeah, 6. You think Terrell Owens gets in this year?
I think Terrell Owens gets in. I think Ray Lewis gets in. I think Randy Moss gets in. Brian Urlacher is kind of interesting. I don't know if he would get in this year or not. There's a
lot of good offensive linemen in this class. I would think that at least 2 or 3 of those would probably get into.
Yeah, this is Urlacher's first year of eligibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, he won't make it in, I don't think.
No, I don't think Brian Dawkins is either.
Terrell Owens, he didn't get in. He's just his second year of eligibility, right?
That's a damn joke. He didn't get in last year, if you ask me.
Yeah, so man, Jerry Jones got in over him.
Yeah,
I hate that. I like kind of like owners going into the Hall of Fame. I guess I can kind of see it, but not at the expense of another player. Yeah. Don't take have a whole different spot for an owner or for a coach or front office guy, have a whole different spot. Don't take all 6 spots. Because last year it was a joke that he didn't get in. So anyways,
I got a couple more stats to finish up, and that's about it.
Go for it, man.
Just to finish up the 2017 regular season, Phillip Rivers tied Fran Tarkenton for our 5th most passing touchdowns all time. Joe Flacco finally reached 200 career touchdown passes. Matt Stafford finally reached 3,000 career completions. Drew Brees ends the 2017 regular season 79 completions away from Brett Favre's all-time completions record. So he'll probably get that in 4 games next year, maybe.
Yeah. And Drew Brees also took back his record that Sam Bradford had broke a couple years ago of the completion percentage record.
Oh, I did not see that. Glad
Yes,
you
he
mentioned
did.
that.
It's interesting about that stat is it's been broken 9 times by 5 different quarterbacks, and only one quarterback's done it multiple times, and he's done it 4.
Yeah, Brees is crazy completion percentage.
So
Frank
good.
Gore, one of the most underappreciated running backs of all time. 14,000 career rushing yards this past week. Only Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, and Curtis Martin have more than him.
Oh, wow, that's crazy.
Marshawn Lynch reached 10,000 career rushing yards. And my last one is Adam Vinatieri ended the season 6 field goals short of Morton Anderson's all-time record. Do you think he comes back next year?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to ask you that. I do. I think he does come back.
Yeah, I think he'll come back too. He's still got it. Then he'll probably retire. One more year.
Yeah, once he beats Morton Anderson. So this will be interesting as we go through the off season. So now that the season's over, we kind of know where things are going to be at, and we also know the teams that will be eligible for Hard Knocks. Remember, it is required by the NFL that one team takes it, and so we have our contenders. Unless somebody volunteers to be on Hard Knocks, it will be one of these teams: the San Francisco 49ers, the Denver Broncos, the Cleveland Browns, the San Diego Chargers, not the San Diego Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Indianapolis Colts.
Who do you want to see?
Oh, and I'm sorry, and the not the Indianapolis Colts, the Washington Redskins.
Who do you want to see?
I think if nobody volunteers, and I don't know if anybody will, if nobody volunteers, I think they go either 49ers or Browns.
I'd like to see the Browns. I'd like to see how a dysfunctional organization shows up on TV.
No, I think the narrative of them going 0-16 and then trying to come back, I think that's a big narrative that the NFL is going to try to push. Yeah. And then, of course, Jimmy Garoppolo in San Francisco. I think that's going to be I think that would be a big money maker for them. So I think it'll be one of those two teams if nobody volunteers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you. I'd kind of like to see the Browns. So it'd be fun.
Sure.
All right. Well, I guess that is going to end the podcast for tonight. You got anything else, bud?
I think that's it.
Well, thank you for those that have interacted with us live or watched it live tonight. If you are listening to the playback on Apple iTunes or on YouTube, be sure to follow us at All Pro Nation on both Twitter and Facebook. Check out allpronation.com. I think this was pretty fun doing the live recording. What you think?
Something different. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, we're definitely not.
Yes, though.
We're not going to do it. We're not going to do the live recordings every week. Maybe for more special shows. I know we've got a couple things that we're working on a Super Bowl pregame show. We'll be working on a show specifically for the draft.
Free agency preview.
Yeah. So big time shows like that, we're going to probably try to do live. So follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check us out at allpronation.com. They support the podcast, so you should support them. And am I missing anything? Oh, I did. I know we didn't mention it on the podcast last week, but it was in the commercial that came before that the podcast is going to go year round. In the off season, we may take a week or two off here and there, but we are going to do the podcast year round. Tanner's big into the draft, so he's going to be giving us a lot of cool stuff on the draft.
I can't wait.
Yeah, that's good. That's going to be fun. Also, we'll be for the next couple of weeks. We'll be previewing the playoffs, reviewing the playoffs, the Super Bowl, Pro Bowl, things like that. As soon as the Super Bowl is over, we will go through each division and kind of break down the teams, kind of grade them how they did in 2017, where they need to improve for 2018. Then we'll move into our draft coverage, and then after the draft coverage, we'll probably take some time off, and then we'll come right back and whatnot after that. So that's kind of our plans for the next couple of months. Remember, you can follow Tanner at @purple_post, and you can follow me at 318 Realty. And then, of course, you can interact with us on All Pro Nation at allpronation.com. So with all that said, I guess we'll see y'all later, guys. So,
See you guys.
Peace out.